Hello, and welcome to the playground where the players play. I'm your host, Eddie Llewellyn, and my guest today is David R. Webb, President and CEO of the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center in Dayton, Ohio. And we are really going to get into a lot today because that's really important. And I'm glad. First of all, David, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
And
so much.
awesome. And David is a very busy man. Getting him on the show, it's been like crazy. But finally, like I said, I'm honored. I'm honored that you're here, and I'm glad you can make the time to do this.
hmm
So, without further ado, David,
hmm
tell us about you.
Oh man. Oh, just a country boy from Ohio.
And with that, let me say the same thing. Hey, just a musician from Ohio.
Yeah, that's all. It's just something about the water that we drink, man. It's how we get funky. Like the great Marshall Jones from the Ohio Players said, God stuck his foot in the Miami Valley, the sweat off of God's feet ran into the waters of Ohio. And that's how
Oh
we
my
got so
gosh.
funky, you
You
know?
said the Miami Valley. Oh my,
Yeah.
you went there.
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. Well, before we get into the Hall of Fame, and that's
Sure.
that's going to be a big part of this conversation and everything else you're doing. Tell us a little bit about you. Let's go back to like you're born and raised in Dayton, correct?
Born and raised in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
I was born on the west side of Dayton on a
Mhm.
street called Ethel Avenue in McCall. Now, this is when the Dayton was booming and with a lot of schools. I had 13 major schools, almost a half a million people, a quarter of a million people lived in the city of Dayton at that time. In the 50s, 60s, well, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, Dayton, Ohio was a uh, thriving, booming cities with industry. And like my people came all the way from Tennessee and everybody migrated for that great migration in the north and
Mm.
it made it so big. But yeah, grew up in Dayton, Ohio, went to school, just in the church all my life. My mother was in church all like grew up in Church of God in Christ. Yeah, just
David, are you somewhat of an ambassador as far as Dayton? Because I mean, you totally broke it down. You got numbers and everything.
oh well, just doing, just giving my facts and different things about the area of Dayton. And at one time, like I said, Dayton, Ohio was the patent capital of the world in the 30s, 40s, and 50s because the industry in Dayton is so huge. That's why my parents migrated that northwise to
Mhm.
make sure they got jobs at the time.
Mhm.
So Dayton, Ohio is a small, medium-sized city, and I grew up there, and I love Dayton, Ohio.
Mhm.
And I visit a lot of cities and do a lot of things with a lot of people, but Dayton, Ohio is my number one thing that I like to do. Um,
Gotcha.
Coming up in the neighborhoods, I grew up in predominantly Black neighborhoods. Then we moved to Upper Dayton View, and I met a lot of people. And when I was coming up, busing wasn't there, but busing started in 1975 for me, and
Mm.
I met a lot of people, diverse people from there, and
Mm.
that's where I am today.
Mm. What was the industry in Dayton? Do you remember what some of the major
Automotive,
industries were back in Dayton?
automotive. You had General Motors, you had
Mhm.
Frigidaire, you had McCall's factory. McCall made all those patterns of
Oh,
your sewing patterns,
uh,
NCR,
mhm.
uh, Kooks, Dayton Tire and Rubber. I mean, it's just Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, DESI's part of the defense system. I mean,
Wow.
you could leave one job and go to another. We had Chrysler at the
Mhm.
time down there. I mean, just Dayton was just booming, 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 booming.
So
And then
major industries there.
major industry.
Oh, cool.
Even the Charles Kettering, the guy who made the starter for Ford, lived in Dayton. A lot of innovators was out of Dayton, Ohio, and then they um, moved different places. But one thing, the story was Charles Kettering was going to get Henry Ford to move to Dayton at one time. That
Mhm.
would have been something else for Dayton, Ohio, for big
Mm,
industry.
okay. And what was school like for you?
Oh man, I was in trouble. I was in the principal office. No, 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 no. I mean, yeah, I was like
Do
the
do a lot of
principal.
people do a lot of your friends remember you for that?
Yeah, yeah. They
Uh,
said, man, when was that? No, no, no. I was a very very
uh-huh.
hyper kid
Mhm.
who loved music, and I used to beat on my desk all the time,
Ah.
go, ka, 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 ka,
Mm,
ka, in
mm,
the choir. And like I did a TED talk, and I talk about how I wanted to play the drums, and the teacher gave me a flutophone. You know, one of those little plastic flutophones.
Yeah, oh
You know,
yeah.
just appease you,
Yep.
and you know, everybody used to laugh. And I took it home. Look, Dad, Mom, I got a flutophone. They said, "Oh, that's special needs." So I
That's
was like,
special.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was like, I felt so bad about it at the time.
Uh-huh.
Like, gee, Mom, yeah, you're
Awesome.
supposed to be like cheering me on there,
Right,
Dad,
right.
Mom. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. So there it is.
Right,
There's my life story right there. And
right,
then
right.
they never took me to the circus and everything. No, I'm playing. No,
Oh.
no, I had a good family. I had a father who was a World War II veteran. His name is Russell Webb, out of
Oh.
Milan, Tennessee, Gibson
Mhm.
County. And a lot of people down that way, they knew I think he knew Tina Turner, that Gibson County, Jackson, Humboldt, all that where Tina Turner was. I think he was good. He knew Tina Turner at that time. But
Oh, wow.
it wasn't Tina Turner at that time, you
Mhm,
know.
mhm,
Yeah. So, but
mhm. Was it
yeah,
anime then?
yeah, it was anime. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
it
he
was
says.
anime.
Anime,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
anime. Yeah, eat the
Uh-huh.
cake, anime. But
Uh,
so, but yeah,
uh,
yeah, my mother was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who moved to Indianapolis to Dayton, and that's what my father, it was so funny. My father was a World War II veteran, and he served his country well. And that's when he came to Dayton. You know, he met my mother. How that happened, I don't know, but it
mm,
happened.
mhm,
And there
mhm,
I go, pop out. You know,
mhm, mhm. Okay.
but yeah, that's it.
Good, good. And it's important that we mention that because music played a big part, I'm
Yes, it
assuming,
did.
of your life. I mean, even in your younger days.
Oh yeah, we grew up in church. We grew up in Church of God in Christ, and we were part of the faith healers. I always call it the faith healers evangelists. We grew
Mhm,
up in the meeting of A. Allen out of Arizona, Miracle Valley, Arizona, and
mm,
but then we went for that was Assemblies of God. Then we went from
mhm,
Assemblies of God to Church of God in Christ, where that's my denomination that I recognize, Church of God in Christ,
mhm,
and in that Pentecostal thing like then where you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, but
mhm,
things have changed and all that. And that's when I learned my music,
mhm,
learning music in school, at schools and church, because at that time churches had so many young musicians out there were
mhm,
very, very hungry. And the
mhm,
interesting thing I loved about that is, they I always call them ghetto geniuses. You ever heard that expression, ghetto genius?
mhm,
Whereas
mhm,
they learned by ear and picked up like it was just like that.
mhm.
And
Yep.
I learned by ear and notes too, but just young people were hungry back then. At that time, like Dayton had like 13 or so major high schools, but right now music is not in Dayton schools like they used to be, and it's bad. It's
I
so
think
so
that's all
bad.
over. Mhm.
Yeah, it's
I
so
think
so bad.
that's all over. Mhm, mhm,
And that's why we circling around to the Funk Music Hall of Fame Exhibition Center. And
mhm,
our goal and mission is to educate our public's knowledge in the history of funk music on the one, as James Brown says. The genre of funk music collective was soul and rhythm gear for our young people,
mhm,
Generation Y, Z, X, the millennials, the baby boomers. They need to know about this. And that's why the museum is created for
mhm,
these young people to understand the music where we grew up to learn, not
mhm.
where you was getting cussed out. Somebody say good night. I just paid $200 to get cussed out. Oh my God. No, we're taking
Right,
it back
right,
to the day
right.
when music was music.
Mm, mm. And as you can see there, you can see David's passion as far as the Funk Music Hall of Fame. And I want to make sure that that we do emphasize that the Funk
Yes.
Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center in Dayton, Ohio, of
And
which again David is the president and CEO and proprietor. And David, I really
yes,
want you to go into this because this is the thing.
yes,
I mean, we have like so many like halls of fame.
yes.
The Country Music Hall of Fame.
Rock and
Of
Roll
course
Hall
the
of
Rock and
Fame.
Roll Hall of Fame, the
Hmm.
Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame in
Hmm.
Detroit, and
Hmm.
the Funk Music Hall of Fame. I remember when we first met, I was there with Stone City. We were doing a concert. I think it was Cincinnati. Was it?
Cincinnati
Yeah.
on Vine and McMicken at the fairgrounds.
Hmm, hmm. And David showed up and David started talking about, the genre of funk music. And I'd
Hmm.
never heard anybody talk about it like David did. And I
Hmm.
mean, it was, of course, it's important, but I mean, I can't stress how important funk music is as a genre.
Hmm.
And for David to come in and like break it down like that. And that's why it was so important for me to have him on this show, because I really want you to tell people that, funk music, it is a thing.
It is. It is. You
Uh,
know what? One thing I didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know who he was I just thought I just thought he was just a regular musician until I looked
That's a
and I
regular musician.
looked and I said, wait a minute, that's Mr. Best Beat in Town. There will never
Uh-oh.
be. I was like, wait a minute, I know this
Uh-oh.
guy.
Oh
Uh,
no. Uh-huh.
yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
He had
Uh-huh.
the hair and everything going, And I said, I mean, and I said, God, I'm in
Uh-huh.
a legend because I grew up on the slow dancing with you guys, man.
Mm. Uh-huh.
Switch, man, God. And, I call your name. I remember living. And I know I'm going different, but wait a minute, I gotta say this.
Thank
So,
you.
what's your first song? That first song y'all did that came out. Uh, there never
Yeah. Uh-huh.
be a
Uh-huh.
better,
That's it.
never be. Okay, so my, I was a freshman in school, freshman sophomore in school, and I got my first slow dance in there, right?
Uh-huh.
So the girl's like, okay, so I didn't see her no more. Then y'all came out with this other thing. I said, is this really your phone number? That's all. And I used that. I said, and then I call your name, girl.
Uh-huh.
I slow dance. I was a junior in high school. Then I slow danced to that song. And then this girl, I said, is this really your phone number? I said, they're, they're, they're like me. They're regular guys.
We can relate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I said to myself, man, they understand me. I should be in the group.
Uh,
Yeah, they never gave me the call.
thank
They
you.
never gave me the call.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I
No
really,
problem.
really
No
do.
problem.
I really
I'm
do.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no,
But
no. But yeah, yeah. Like I said, this is our introduction when we first met, and of course, oh, first of all, I got to make sure that people see the
oh
shirt
yeah,
that
yeah.
David got
There it
for
is.
me, like literally, like that day here.
I came and got it
So
to him, and I told him,
that,
I said, don't tell nobody I give it to you because I don't want them to come and say something.
right, right, right. So again, I mean, if you, and I know you kind of touched upon it a little bit, but
Yes.
how did it start? I mean, how did you like come up with the idea that there needs to
Well,
be
it needed to be
this?
done. You had some people in the past who was trying to get stuff done, trying to get stuff done, and that never happened. So what I
Mhm,
did was I had to take the bull by the horn and do this because, you know, um, like yourself as a funk star and R&B star, um, you wasn't getting recognized like you should be recognized. A
mhm,
lot of people holler about they want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Why? If you
mm,
support the Funk Music Hall of Fame, you get more props there because you are funk bands. They're getting mad about that. No, 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 nothing wrong with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the key word is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
mhm, mhm,
If you support the Funk Music Hall of Fame, look what the genre of music is in funk from
mhm.
James Brown.
Thank
We
you.
can go back to um, uh, Chuck Berry and
Mhm,
some of them guys, Cab Calloway. Them guys was funky back then.
mhm,
You look what Prince did. Prince grabbed a little bit of Sly Stone, a little bit of James Brown, a little
mhm,
bit of Cab Calloway, a little bit, like a melting pot of funk music. Funk music is tremendous. You
mhm,
got
mhm,
different genres of funk. You got funk rock with Andre Crouch back in the day and Disciples, off
mhm,
of Waco Records. That was funk music genre. You had the Red Hot Chili Peppers, rock funk. You got a
mhm.
group called Switch. I think they're from Ohio somewhere. They have their own funky rock thing out
From
there.
Ohio somewhere.
Somewhere north up there by Canton, Akron. But these guys were funky. They
Thank
were
you.
funky.
Mhm,
I mean, and what we try to do at the Funk Music said, it's all about our children and,
mhm,
and bringing the funk back. We have an award show coming up with funk music. With we're honoring James Brown and the Ohio Players, our first class, and the Parliament Funkadelic with George Clinton. This is
okay.
important. We
Mhm,
need to support this. This is great. Even we have rappers who sample you guys
mhm,
to give
mhm,
back the
mhm,
genre of music. Some
mhm,
people say, well, that was such. I said, no, that was Switch, or that
mhm,
was Ohio Players, or that was Lakeside, that was
mhm,
Heat Wave, different groups
mhm.
like that. As we say, Dayton, Ohio is the funk capital of the world, and that's why it's important to people understand the genre of music is coming back. Look what Bruno Mars is doing.
Mhm.
He's bringing it back like that.
I
He's a
agree.
different kind of funky, but I give the man credit.
Right.
You got
Mhm,
some of the rappers. Then look what Ice Cube did. He did the new Parliament Funkadelic song
mhm,
he did a
mhm.
couple of years ago.
Right. Right.
Funk music is coming back.
Right, right. You had just touched upon as far as Dayton. Okay, and I was just going to ask a question. Why Dayton, Ohio? And you said it's the funk capital of
Why
the world.
I always tell
Why
people,
Dayton?
why
If you
not
can
Dayton,
expound on
Ohio?
that a little bit more.
Well, Dayton, Ohio has so many groups out here for a small,
There it
medium-sized
is.
group. So
Uh-huh.
many groups came out of Dayton, Ohio. You'd be surprised.
Mhm,
I could throw, our charter members, Ohio players. I mean, because the Ohio players, they were like the grandfathers of funk in Dayton, Ohio. Everybody looked up to the Ohio players. From there, the Lakeside Zap Roger, Heat Wave, Steve Arrington, Slave. I go on and go on. Platypus. People say Platypus. Platypus made a record called Dancing in the Sunlight, Dancing in the Moonlight with Casablanca Records. And a lot of people discovered these guys. These are
mhm,
young musicians were right out of high school and went to California, was
mhm,
hungry for music and stuff like
mhm,
that. And
mhm,
like I said, we don't want to forget like some of the members of Ohio players before then, the Westbound record Ohio players, from Westbound Records to Mercury Records, from Greg Webster. We did Pain and Funky Worm, Junie Morrison, who left and did his solo career with Westbound, and then got with George Clinton and did
mhm,
Atomic Dog and a lot of stuff. I
mhm,
mean, Dayton, Ohio is so funky, and Ohio is so funky. And if you look at some of these bands who are out there in the 70s and now, they always get these musicians from Ohio for some strange reason.
mhm,
You,
mhm, mhm,
you got to
mhm,
say,
mhm.
but back to Dayton, Ohio. Dayton, Ohio is the growth of music out of Dayton, Ohio is tremendous,
Mhm,
tremendous.
mhm, mhm. When all this was coming up, and just to name a few of the bands you mentioned, the Ohio players, Slave,
Slave, Lakeside,
Lakeside,
hmm
mhm,
Heat Wave,
Heat Wave,
Steve Arrington, Shirley
yep,
Murdoch,
mhm,
uh, Platypus,
yeah,
even CC Penniston's out of Dayton, Ohio.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I didn't know, I didn't know Snooky Young,
yep,
trumpet
yep.
player,
Snooki Young, the trumpet player for
world
the
famous
Tonight
trumpet
Show.
player.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm,
And there's another jazz person out there. It's a guy, Roy Merriweather's from Dayton, Ohio. Look him up. He's a jazz pianist out of New
oh,
York.
okay.
Roy Merriweather.
Uh-huh.
It's so many people out of Dayton, Ohio. We have movie stars, athletes. You'd be
Mhm,
surprised.
mhm, mhm. Now, when you were coming up, and this is like when all these groups were like, coming up, were you like in the midst of that? I mean, did
Oh
you like
yeah, yeah,
hang
yeah.
out
I,
with
I
like a
used
lot of those musicians?
Yeah, I used to be knock on their doors and harass them just to get an autograph. Yeah, yeah, that was me. Yeah, no, I used
Uh,
to walk. They used to, like the group Sun. The
Sun.
Sun make
Uh-huh. Hmm.
radiation level. Sun is here.
Yep.
Um, I used to walk down to down on Third Street area, Fourth Street to see them practice in their little studio they used to have. Everybody
Hmm.
had like a garage studio or a garage with a studio upstairs. And
Hmm.
these like guys you see every day walking down the street, going to the stores. You could get a chance to talk to them. To us, they were just normal people, and to other
Oh,
people,
wow. Hmm.
they were like, "Oh man, you know that?" I say, "Yeah, he's down there eating some church's chicken down there on the bench. You go say hi to him."
Right, right,
It's that
right.
simple. It's that simple.
Right, right, right. Cool, cool. So all these groups are coming up and all that stuff, and they've gone on to become world famous and this and that and the other. At
Yes.
what time did you decide, hey, we need to have like some kind of like dedication to these musicians that are coming from Dayton,
Oh,
Ohio?
this has been going
When
on.
did
I thought about this back in like in the 79, 80. It's
Oh,
a thought.
wow.
You have a thought of doing
Uh-huh.
stuff like that
Uh-huh.
because the tribute, other people thought about that too, because people going to be, hey David, in 1969, I thought about the same idea you. I said, well,
Uh-huh.
thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you. Everybody had an idea. Everybody, and
Right.
don't get me wrong. And I said, you have people like, well, I had that idea first. I said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
sir. I appreciate your support. I tell people, first one to the moon, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
not being cocky or nothing like
Hmm.
that,
No, I understand.
but the thing that matters, I respect people, and from the people who with personalities, the stars and everything like that. And I deal with personalities and with the musicians too.
Hmm.
Everybody's temperamental on something, and you show them the respect. And
Hmm.
I figured just paying this homage to them by building the Funk Music Hall of Fame Exhibition Center, and people can't say it. We always say the Funk Center for short, and that's what we want to make sure they are recognized in
Hmm.
in, in a big way.
Hmm. Hmm. And the city got behind you on this.
Yes, yes, yes. And sometimes, people pat you on the back and they like, oh yeah, yeah, congratulations. We'll see what happens. But you can congratulate me by coming aboard and you help me raise money so we can build this edifice.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Cool, cool. So, you got the musician. I'm sorry, the museum. Up and running and all that. It
Mhm.
was literally established. You remember the year it was actually like
Yeah,
established?
okay. Well, first of all, let's go back. When we
Okay.
first got the call, and give you a little more history about the Dayton Public Library partnership with us with Jane Close. She's one of the directors down there and doing business, and so she got in touch with a gentleman named Keith Harrison. That ring a bell? Keith Harrison is the keyboard player and one of the voices of Phaso. He left
Oh,
Phaso,
okay.
got with the Daz band. No, he got with the Daz band and Heatwave.
Uh-huh.
And he's the one that sing, I'm riding high, everybody is a love
Yeah.
junkie.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
Jane Close got in touch with Keith, and Keith got in touch with me, and I called Jane, and Jane said, Mr. Webb, I understand you need a place to share your exhibit, the
Nice.
funk stuff. So we was there for like 8 months and stuff, and it was a lot of people from all over the world. It wasn't a huge exhibit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It was a nice exhibit where people came, and then after that 8 months or so ago, we had to leave, and I said, Lord, what can I do now? So a gentleman named Scott Gibson came to me and said, Mr. Webb, I see what's going on. I like what you're doing. I want you to come down right downtown Dayton at 113 East 3rd Street.
Mm.
So next thing I know, we loaded up, and we it took us about 6-7 months to get everything built out and everything, and we opened. That grand opening was like in like 2019.
Oh,
It was huge down there.
okay.
Excuse me,
Okay.
2018. I'm sorry, 2018. Our big
Okay. Okay.
our big down at the 113 East Third Street, 2018, and we
Okay.
it flourished. We had a grand opening. Like I tell people, Google us. You see, we had a huge grand opening. A lot of stars, ribbon cutting, Funk Stars was with us. Then, maybe almost close to a year later, he sold the property. Once he
Oh.
sold the property, he came to us. He goes, "Oh, you're gonna be okay right now. You be good. Y'all have a black business doing something that's good." So no orders came in. So like a month later, he came and said, "Y'all gonna be all right." I go, "Oh, all right." And next thing I know, I never got a chance to talk to the owner because everybody was like dodging me. Next thing I know, uh, they gave us a contract because we was a nonprofit. We wasn't making no money. We was giving back
Mhm,
to the children. We wasn't
mhm.
really charging nobody. We just enough to keep the lights on like that
Right,
because we
right,
weren't
right.
about
For
making no money
operational.
as a nonprofit. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So next thing I know, we get a contract uh for like $2,000 or 1,400, almost be like 2,000 because gas and all that. Come to 2,000, we couldn't afford $2,000 a month.
Mhm, mhm.
So next thing we knew, we had to move. We had to move. We had to move.
Oh,
And
man.
people's like, oh, hey, man, what happened? No, it's nothing we have done. We
Mhm,
could
mhm,
we couldn't afford that,
mhm.
as a nonprofit. We wasn't making the income wasn't coming in like that.
Right.
So, but and a lot of people still call us today, say when we're gonna open again. But I tell people we need that support. We have a GoFundMe page, the Funk Music Hall of Fame Exhibition GoFundMe page.
Awesome.
We have a
Okay.
website, thefunkcenter.org to donate. There's a PayPal. I tell people it takes money, but one thing
Mhm,
I did was when we first got downtown, I used my retirement money to
oh, wow.
fund that
Mhm,
everything.
mhm.
And I don't have a retirement. My heart and soul is into the funk center right now. So
Okay.
that's what's
Okay.
happening. But
Okay.
we still take things out on exhibit when colleges, and we do presentation with colleges, schools, libraries. We do take some artifacts and memorabilia with us
Mm,
and keep it going.
okay.
And that's why we have our television show, The Funk Chronicles.
Understood. So is the museum right now, it's mobile and online?
It's You can see it online. You can see our television show online, and you can get a
Okay.
chance to see pictures if you Google it through our Facebook page or website,
Awesome.
different things. If people want to see what's happening, yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
But right now we're creating a digital funk box. It's called a funk box, where young kids learn how to play instruments, put beats and loops and different things. And we're going to be bringing that out in probably the 1st of July. I think we're
Okay.
going to be running out the 1st of July, and we might come to your a school near you or college near you.
Mhm. Cool, cool. So right now the goal is for the museum is to get a permanent building. I mean, that's where we are now,
Yes,
right?
yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And
Because go ahead. I'm
and
sorry.
and I'm sorry, as far as like donations or whatever, you're accepting donations or
Yes,
whatever.
we
If
are.
you can
We
give us
are.
information on how to do that.
Yes. Okay. So you can go to our website at www.thefunkcenter.org. That's TheFunkCenter.org. That's ORG. That's
Mhm.
our website. And you can see where you can go there and make a donation through our PayPal. And then we're on GoFundMe too. We're on a GoFundMe page too.
Mhm.
The Funk Music Hall of Fame exhibition GoFundMe. We need your support. We don't want this to die because
No.
this is everybody's a genre of music that people will love, from the rappers, the hip hop, country, pop, rock, and I tell people that. And also, I want to just do a little word out here. It's not
Please.
about David Webb. It's never about David Webb. David
Mhm.
Webb is not important. David Webb is a conductor driving the train. It's
Mm,
all about you guys, the musicians, and get your genre of music that we want to keep going on for generations to come.
awesome, awesome. And if I can be a witness to that, what I saw was incredible. I mean, David's idea and to get this thing off the ground and moving and all that stuff, it was literally incredible. And again, I mean, we talk about like the different genres of music.
Uh-huh.
Funk, as big as it is somehow like it's buried, and it's like, how is that even possible? And we have people like David that's making sure that it is out there. I mean,
Uh-huh.
and again, as I said in the beginning, funk music is a thing.
It
It's
is.
as big, if not bigger, than country music and
Uh-huh.
pop music and this and that and the other. And when you just ran down like a list of like people like James Brown. I mean, let's start with
Uh-huh.
James Brown. I mean, do we need to go any farther?
So we go. Okay, listen. We go. Well, see, and I always go back a little bit before,
Oh, please,
because
I know.
Chuck Berry was
Hmm.
killing it back there too.
Hmm.
Cab Calloway. I
Hmm.
mean, Little Richard.
And you said
Come
Cab
on.
Calloway. I didn't even think about Cab Calloway in that
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
list.
Little Richard and all that
Hmm.
stuff like that. Because Cab Calloway used to do the splits with the Heidi high. His hair.
Hmm.
That was funky back then.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I mean, just think it. You go back. And then James, and then from James Brown, you got George Clinton, the Parliament Funkadelic. Then you got, if you want me to stay, I'll be around today. Come on, that
Right.
West Coast sound of Sly and the Family
Uh-huh.
Stone,
Yep. Yep.
and everybody, that I call it that techno kind of funk back then.
Hmm.
And Graham Central Station and the bass, the thumping and everything. Come on,
Hmm.
come on,
Hmm. Hmm.
come on. And then when you get back around the date, you hear boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 ba, 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 come, ba, ba,
Right.
ba, come
Right.
away. Hey,
Uh-huh.
what's
Uh-huh.
that? And
Hmm.
then back in it, we go back a little further when Junie says, "He's the funkiest woman out." He playing hands without any hands. I might add, come on. Junie was doing the voice and doing the funky worm on the keyboard. I mean, come
Uh-huh.
on. I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Uh-huh.
it's so much talent
Hmm.
of funk music.
It's funny. I mean, speaking of that song, and you just took me back to when my daughter must have been like maybe what, eighth grade? No, 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 no.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. I say eighth grade, third grade, right? And I
Hmm.
forget what age is that, like 7, 7, 8 years old, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know why, but I was playing, the Ohio players and all that, and she heard Funky Worm, messed
Hmm.
her up. She had to have that record. She took it to school like the next day
Hmm.
and played it for her class. And of course, we're talking about a bunch of third graders here, and they're like,
Of course.
"What? What is
What was
that?"
that?
But
What was that? And if you listen to the lyrics, what he says, playing without any hands, pretty good, I might add.
right.
I'm like, how did he do that? And they said, did we get paid? Did he get paid? Oh, he can't spend it all. Yeah. So I mean,
Uh-huh.
come on. And
Uh-huh.
it's telling the story. All these funk musicians was telling the story. And James Brown played it. What key did he always playing? I want a D. Give me some
Mhm.
D.
Mhm.
Okay, we go to D.
Mhm. 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 Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so James Brown was a keyboard player who played in D.
Uh, and funky, I might add.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
So so let me just say this. I mean, to all my musician friends and the musicians that are watching this, please, I mean, if you can support the Funk Music Hall of Fame,
Yes.
I mean, this is a call out to everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
whether you're a musician or not, again, this is like really important. And I mean, just getting the message out there and letting people know that there's this genre that you all listen to
Hmm. Mhm.
You've all heard it at some time in your life. It's out there and needs to be this museum needs to be supported.
And this is a legitimate museum.
It
You
really
can
is. It
Google us.
really
You can
is.
Google us.
Yeah.
Because people like they always ask the question, "Oh, really? Uh-huh." And then,
Mhm.
when they Google it, they come back and because people want to ridicule you
Mm.
and they want to find fault
Mhm.
until
Mhm.
they investigate and find out. Then they come back and go, "Oh, David, I didn't know." I said,
Mhm. I tried to tell you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know,
Mhm.
you know how it is.
I know.
But
I know.
but like I always tell people, find out the facts.
Mhm.
Don't listen to a lie.
Mm. Mhm.
Ask the question.
Mhm.
Because I mean, like we're here to pay homage to funk stars around the world, and we're
Mhm.
looking for artifacts and memorabilia. I had a guy said, "Well, I'm gonna send you a photocopy." I said, "No, no, no, sir. We need original artifacts and
Mhm.
memorabilia."
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, they don't know.
Yeah.
I have people working with different museums where we look at this stuff
Mhm.
and we archive it.
Right.
Why would I get somebody in, like I fly you in to look at some sheet music and I rent a copy of something? You wasted my time, David. I
Right.
flew in for what? So
Right.
that's why it's important. We're looking for artifacts and memorabilia, original outfits, original shoes, costumes, instruments, whatever you have.
Excellent. 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 Um, Want to move on now.
Mhm.
Moving on to your radio show, the Dayton scene.
Oh, you like that, huh?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, David sent he sent me the link to this, and I'll just say it the way I told it when I first heard it. Being a child of the 70s and all that, you remember AM and FM radio, right?
Yes. Yeah,
And on
that
the
thing.
AM
Yeah.
radio, we had like our station, all that stuff. We had like the great tunes, but the reception was kind of like it was iffy sometimes. Sometimes
Mhm.
you had it good, sometimes you didn't. Then
Yeah, yeah.
FM comes along, and FM, okay, now we can hear everything and all that. We can hear all the great music, and we can
Right.
hear it great and all that, right?
Mhm.
This is that today. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
listened to the station the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this just totally took me back. Totally took me back. Great
Mhm.
tunes, great banter between you. And I'm sorry, I forgot your
Trent
first
do
name.
his name is Trent Darby.
Awesome.
Trent Darby.
Okay.
He's what the reason we had that because we have our Funk Chronicles television show on
Mm,
YouTube. It's the
mhm,
Funk Chronicles, and we tell people to go. It's the Funk Music Hall of Fame Exhibition Center. If you don't
mhm,
remember the name, say the Funk Chronicles and
mhm,
subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like yourself, you was one of our first guests came on
mm,
our show. You remember
mhm,
back when you
mhm.
came to our
Yep.
studio,
Mhm,
television
yep.
studio.
Mhm,
So this is a mirror image. But what we do, we play a Dayton music, and then we break in different categories. So we try to get
mhm.
all the genres of music. We have like the Ohio's finest, like which your group is come out of.
Yeah, yeah,
We have
somewhere up there in Ohio.
somewhere up in Ohio, somewhere up there, close up there,
Right.
somewhere up
Akron,
there.
Canton, somewhere
Yeah,
around.
yeah, somewhere up there. Yeah.
Uh,
And then we have different categories like Blue Eye Soul, Two Play. We do Billboard Magazine trivia and tidbits, 8-track flashback,
mhm,
funky slow jams. We take it back to the day,
mhm,
and then we just don't play music and say here's Switch or here's James Brown. No, no,
mhm,
we give we get stories about
mhm,
behind the music, and
mhm.
it's real interesting. And we work together, and we picked up another young lady came on board, Lisa Gordon. Lisa
Oh,
Gordon is she came on that show, and she's coming on with us, and we want a female's point of view. It's good, and it's not a guy thing. We want that female's point of view when we talk about different things happen in history. We want her to do. We have a very diverse radio show. Very
mm,
diverse.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was like thoroughly impressed. Again, it sounded good. You had like a great selection of music, and again, the banter between you and Mr. Dar,
Darby. Yeah.
it was awesome. I mean, it was I mean, total class, total
Hmm.
class. And again, just totally took me back. Totally took me back.
And one thing we don't do, we don't do that gibberish where we slamming people in the air. No,
No.
no, no. We don't. Well, one day somebody went down and did this and stole a candy bar. No, we don't
Mm,
do all that. We don't do
mm,
that because the thing we're respecting your music, what you put out, and your stories.
mhm,
We don't do that messy stuff. We don't do
mhm,
that. Not in
mhm,
our organization. No.
mhm, mhm. Awesome, awesome. So, how 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 did the listening public get to
Oh,
hear
yes.
that
Okay.
radio show?
Okay. If you get a chance, if you go on our Facebook page, the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center. That's the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center, and it comes on every Saturday night. There's a link that goes to Jackie Vibes Radio, and we are syndicated out of Toronto, Canada.
Mhm,
Now, if you miss it, go. You can. The rebroadcast will be on SoundCloud, Podomatic, or any of those Apple to iTunes, Spotify, all that. It's the Dayton Scene Radio Show. It's the Dayton Scene Radio Show. Like I said, you can go there and get the rebroadcast of it and enjoy the show. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. And again, like I said, this man is busy. He's got a lot going on. David, what's on the horizon? Is it are you mostly working on the Dayton scene right now, or
yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything. Working on the Dayton scene. We were getting ready to start airing back in June the Funk Chronicles. You can get people, and then my brother passed away, and it kind of threw me for a loop. Brother Sam, and we did a tribute to my brother on the radio show, Samuel L. Webb. He was a veteran. So right now, you keep me in prayer, and it's just a little hard getting back on that bicycle, but I will get back on that bicycle, and we'll do stuff. But yeah, we're working on that, working on the digital funk box. We're working on some other stuff coming up in possibly December, the tribute, our first inducted ceremony with the Dayton Philharmonic. It's Neil Gittleman, and then we're working with the University of Dayton, Dr. Sharon Grotto. It's going to be a 3-day event. It's going to be a funk symposium in December. So I think that's be pretty nice. It's free, but the concert is not free. So we're working on a lot of stuff now. So I'm not twiddling my thumbs. I'm out working, and I had to thank everybody at the Funk Center who volunteers for us. No one gets paid. There's no pay. These professionals work hard in what they do.
Cool. So all the information that you just gave, we can find that out at the funkcenter.org.
Yes. Yeah, the funkcenter.org.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything having to do with you as well, correct?
Yes. And also too, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Twitter, we're on Facebook, the Funk Center. It's easy if I say the Funk Center, and it shows up, Funk Music Hall of Fame Exhibition Center. And I'm on a lot of stuff. You can check it out. And also I'm on YouTube. If you get a chance to see my TED Talk, you look up David Webb TED Talk. That's David Webb TED
earlier.
Talk.
You did a TED Talk.
Yeah, I did a TED Talk on how the arts of funk music influenced my life. And I'm on LinkedIn too, David R. Webb on LinkedIn, if you want to see what I'm doing. And I always tell people, if stuff not on our website yet, if you go to our social media platforms, you get a chance to see stuff is updated, and you get a chance to see what's going on.
Cool. Wow. Okay. With that, I got to thank you.
It's over with already? All right.
Immensely.
I should be interviewing you. I should be asking you stuff. Yeah, I want to interview you. I should turn it around. Like that. I should be interviewing you. The honor should be you, man, because like I said, I got my first slow dance with you guys, and I just man, I was loving it, and I wanted to be a switch. I wanted to be switched with my long hair. I said, light skinned brothers, we were in back then. You know that, right? We were in. Right. And Bobby and Tommy and all us, and James Ingram's brother and all that, the Ingrams, all that stuff. Philip. Yeah, man. I was like, man, us light skinned brothers was in.
and it's funny, whenever I tell anybody we talk about long hair, I'm like, oh yeah, that was about 50 pounds of hair ago.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, there it is. David R. Webb, thank you so much. Owner,
it's a pleasure.
Proprietor, president, CEO of the Funk Music Hall of Fame in Dayton, Ohio. And again, if you want to find out any more information on that, that would be thefunkcenter.org, correct?
Yes, that's our website. And you can say the Funk Center on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and then also if you look up the Dayton Scene Radio Show or the Dayton Scene on Spotify, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So we're all on social media. Just see what we're doing.
Excellent. Thank you again, sir. Really appreciate you.
The pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine.
Awesome. All right, and check in every once in a while. Let me know what's up.
Oh, I will. You like I said, let me know, because I want to get some of your guys on our show, the Funk Chronicles, please.
For sure. I'll be sure to let them know that. Again, Mr. Webb, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here.
No, the pleasure's all mine, man. I'm honored so much.
Best to you.
You too.